Hi, this is Antonella from Empowerment Self-Defense and Intuitive Wing Chun Kung Fu in Brisbane, Australia. And I'm also joined by the lovely Tasha.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Tasha Church with LA Live Action. That's Women Living in Action. It's a self-defense business on Maui in the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, and if you don't know already, Tasha and we connect weekly to bring you topics in relations to self-defense and martial arts from a female perspective. And we have initiated the new, initiative called I.M.Fem.Power. So I.M.Fem.Power. So we would like to include many more subjects in regards to what it's like from a female perspective and talk about different types of topics that we feel really important and we can share from our experience. And today we'd like to talk to you about the topic of confidence. And we chose the topic as confidence, the inner power. So we want to talk to you a little bit about how we look at confidence, how we get confidence, what we do, and then finish it up with hopefully getting some deep insight to how you can bring more confidence in your life. So I will ask you, Tasha, if you want to share with us what confidence means for you.
Well, that's a great question. Confidence can mean a lot of things, and for me, it's just not giving up because you're afraid. And I think that a lot of times we have these moments where there's something, a great opportunity or something exciting that comes up, and then we have the, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? And we're not necessarily thinking anymore about this great experience. We're thinking of all the things that could go wrong. And so more or less for me, confidence is not the lack of fear, but it's moving past fear to a place of power and really owning it, I guess you would say.
I like that.
Yeah, and we were talking today about some different tips. We'd really love to hear input from the audience about tips that you may have, and then also if you have questions, please feel free to put those in the comments below, and we can definitely get back to you on those. But Antonella, what are some tips that you might have when it comes to confidence if you're trying to get a confidence booster?
Yeah, well, look, it's really important to know that everyone has a different definition of confidence, like you were mentioning. And I think the absence of fear is a huge one in terms that I don't think you can ever be confident without being to a point fearful. And I think that's quite a healthy thing to have because you're really wanting to step out of your safety zone. And, also depending if you're an introvert or an extrovert and the different types of approaches that we all individually have in life, what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the other. So for me, when I sort of personally, I think of confidence as something that is a continuous not battle, but just a continuous journey, adventure. One day it's there more than other days, but I really believe it comes down to your self-esteem and your self-worth. I've noticed in my life so far that there are a lot of people that look confident, act confident, but take them away from that particular environment or public space. There is no confidence at all. They're quite anxious, and they may resort to negative things in their life to boost them up. So I really want to focus on healthy approaches to getting your confidence. So one of the things I talk about is, and what works for me is thinking back from this point on and backwards in your life, of all the moments that you have felt confident in regardless what you have attained. I'm not talking about trophies and gold medals. I'm talking about the courage to apply for a job, go to an interview, ask somebody out, make that phone call, approach that somebody, reach a certain goal, whatever that may be. Please have a library in your mind that you can draw from in those moments where you really need to get confidence. I feel that when you have a good ability to grasp all those moments in your life that you have felt confident, it sort of fills you up with more confidence to be able to make better decisions. And what happens is that when you have a memory, you can choose a good memory or a bad memory, but we want to choose good memories. So we have a memory of the times when we felt really proud and confident and happy and joyful. There's the good hormones that flow through us, and our body language changes. We feel stronger in ourselves, and that enables us to make better decisions, which hopefully will make you step out of your comfort zone to really, again, like you said, Tasha, to get out of that fear-based situation and really push your boundaries. So that's one of the things, and I might ask you, and we might go backwards and forwards. So what's the biggest thing for you?
Well, a couple of things that I really love to do for myself, and I know that some of it sounds cheesy, but I love doing affirmation cards. And I have a whole wide array of affirmation cards that I use. But on days when I'm just feeling a little bit more like my energy is a bit lower, I pull these affirmation cards, and usually they brighten up my day. And I also do meditation in the morning. I have a morning routine. So it's really important. I think everybody should have some form of morning routine. It doesn't matter what it is, but for you, just making sure that you have one and really sticking to it. For me, I have to have some sort of exercise in the morning. I have to do meditation, and I like doing yoga. And so those are just different things. And I have a green drink every morning.
Yeah, because I guess it's really important to start the day with something that on a positive note, whatever that may be.
Yeah, exactly. They've done a whole bunch of studies on the world leaders, and a lot of them all had some sort of morning routine, morning setup that they would do to start their day and really kick everything off. Some other stuff too is, when I have been having a really rough time, have I have a go-to buddy that I end up calling, and it's an automatic confidence booster. Maybe that buddy might be a family member of yours, or a friend or a mentor, someone who you can go to, and that doesn't mean that they're the person you go to just constantly share all of this horrible news, but it's someone who definitely will pick you up and give you a boost. And I also have talked in my programs for middle school and high school girls. I had them write down 10 things that they liked about themselves, and call it a 1-week challenge to write 10 new things every day that you like about you. And by the end of 10 days, there's so many awesome things by the end of 7 days, there's so many awesome things. You have 70 new things that you can look at, and you can remember, oh, these are all of these really great things about me. And
yeah, I think that's awesome. That's a really good idea, and it doesn't take you can do that on your phone or on your laptop or in a journal. That's easy to do.
Yeah, and you're speaking about journaling too. Journaling's a really great thing. You can also bounce ideas off of friends, but getting information out of your head sometimes. I know that for me as an introvert, and I'm sure Antonella for you, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in your head, and you don't necessarily know how to share it or get it out there. And when you don't get it out there, even if it's just on paper, sometimes you're not processing it in the way that that can help you.
Yeah.
So for me, journaling has been very helpful. Also having a theme song, you know,
Yeah,
like your fight song.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I used to do that whenever I was about ready to go out and play a game of basketball, or before a tournament. Those are different things that I would do. Um, so yeah, that's a big one. And Antonella, you had talked about something as far as a library goes. What was that?
The library of your memories. So a library of that you can use as an anchor. So again, to be really conscious of having going to that library inside your mind of memories of the moments in your life that you have achieved something really positive when you thought you weren't able to do it, but you did. For me, it was, going to Hong Kong and training under Grandmaster Yip Chun, uh, graduating from my uni degree in psychology, applying for certain jobs and getting them, giving birth twice. So those are the moments where you can't, you work so hard and at times you thought you weren't able to make it through, and getting that memory as an anchor point so that any moments when you do need to get confident, when you're feeling weak and you feel like everything's just gloomy, just to go into that part of your brain and to get that feeling and let that feeling go through your body. And the other thing that is for me really important, it's building that resilience, because we all have really shitty days and very challenging days. And it's that point where you can choose, well, do I choose to just stay here in the dark and the misery and just let life pass me by? Or will I choose to aim and look for, a purpose? So look for a purpose every day and in your bigger meaning of life. And, you make that choice whether you want to stay stuck and not progress as an individual, as someone that knows within themselves that you can achieve so much more, or do you choose your suffering and say, you know what, it's all shit, it's all crap, but this is life. Everyone has a burden and a cross to bear, and I will choose to do that with the best of my ability. And some of the things that you mentioned, Tasha, the music and the affirmations. For me, it's also exercise. Sometimes it's the last thing that I want to do when I feel really crap, but it actually brings you out and starts moving the body, gets new oxygen into your brain and your body, the serotonin, oxytocin, all those happy hormones.
Yeah, you feel great after.
You can't deny it. And, it may not be at a gym. It's whatever you like doing. It could be as simple as getting out. But I think the hardest thing is that little shift in your mind to actually do it. That's the hardest part. Once you get out, you feel better for it. But how does that tie back to your confidence? I think by proving to yourself that sometimes, when life does get you down and you're not feeling that great about yourself, you can't depend on other people to lift you up. I mean, it's really important to have that support group for sure. Make sure you choose your tribe and have those buddies, like you were saying, Tasha, to be there for extra support. But ultimately, I'm a big believer in that you got to seek within that in yourself. That's why we decided to call this segment Confidence, the Power Within. But you need to go within yourself and go through your affirmations and remind yourself why you deserve greatness. And then once you convince yourself, then you can seek out your circle of friends, and they will affirm that for you as well, because like you said, Tasha, getting it out and verbalizing it, it sounds different, or journaling, it sounds completely different when you hear someone else as a bouncing board replay that information to you. I know we had a moment not long ago before we started taping, Tasha, where I was feeling a little bit down and you just gave me some new ideas, and I was like, yeah, that's really helpful, and it sort of got me out of my funk. And
do what I can.
That's what friends are for. So I really though want to also make the point to be careful that you don't want to, you hear the thing of fake it till you make it, but also that's fine. If you need to go and do those things, and it's not an instant fix, but persevere with it. Find things that you that do give you joy. Prove yourself wrong. Always just prove yourself wrong, and see that there are things that you need to choose to take responsibility and accountability for your own life. And hopefully by these little tips, that will start the train track going.
And I would say, Antonella, just what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
asking yourself what's the worst that could possibly happen by doing this. And they've also done studies. This woman did a study on hospice patients, and she asked them at the very end, what they regretted. And a lot of them regretted the things that they didn't do. So whenever you have a really big decision, that's a great question that you can ask yourself. If 30, 20, however many years from now you are dealing with looking back, would you regret the decision to not do something, or would you regret the decision of doing it? And only you can answer that question, but really understanding the importance of it. And yeah, and there was the last one that I actually had. It was having some sort of power symbol for you. So a lot of people have different ones, whether they're power totems, animals, maybe it's jewelry. I know that for me, I try and keep different gifts from my family. So I have all of these different things from different people who I love, and sometimes I'll wear them just because I want that energy around me and that confidence, because they're my
Yeah.
cheerleaders, they're my support group, and just having that even on me, it reminds me that they're here for me.
Yeah, I love that. That. Sorry if you can hear my neighbors having fun. I should have put my earphones in. That reminds me of even red lipstick. I love the color red.
Power color.
Yeah, it just, for me, it means yeah, awesome. So yeah, the color red for me means power. I don't wear it every day. It's a personal thing, and you really need to only prove it to yourself. And yeah, the same thing for what's the worst thing that can happen. And for me, actually, the worst thing is to actually be on my deathbed and regret those moments that passed, that I chose not to step up and
Mm-hmm.
ask questions, or I hate that feeling. That resentment of not stepping up really stays with me for a long time. So I really need to challenge myself to remind myself of that. So before we finish up then, so another thing that Tasha and I share and how we got together was, we have a mutual love and respect for self-defense and martial arts. And we started on Instagram, really supporting each other and loving what we both did in our own respective countries and communities, and the message that we were sending. And I think, this is where it's what we're doing now has birthed from what we've been doing with martial arts and self-defense. So we always send that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we send that message that if martial arts is not your thing, that's okay. We always advocate for going to do some self-defense. That's another thing, without saying, that gives you the confidence. And how did it start with you, Tasha, doing self-defense and martial arts? How did that help?
Well, I know that for me, it's a huge confidence booster. And anytime that I'm actually with my students, I feel like a total badass. I have, and my students too. Thank you to all my students who are tuning in and listening. I just love it. I have friends of mine who are students who say, I look forward to it every single week, because they get this opportunity to really feel powerful. So regardless of anything else that's going on in their life, they have that time, and it builds and it fans out into the rest of your life, because You have these different skills that you're learning, and it builds confidence, it builds self-esteem, and on top of that, you suddenly realize that you have all these options and that you can achieve something so great that maybe you didn't think you could do before. A lot of the women who flip this giant man from my class over their shoulder, they're like, oh my God, I never thought I could do that. But they can, and it's really, really great to see their faces. I do believe that self-defense has the opportunity, and martial arts for that matter, has the opportunity to really change lives in positive ways and build that confidence that you need.
Yeah, totally agree. It reminds me of my students when they learn new skills, and you just see them have this childlike face on them, and they're so excited that they were able to do something they most likely thought they weren't able to do. And that transcends into other parts of their life, their studies, at home, in relationships, and because they're doing something that is worth investing in themselves, breaking that limited belief system that they hold on to. You know, it really challenges themselves and what they thought that they were capable of doing and not capable of doing. So those self-defense classes are more than just teaching self-defense. It's also self-protection of unwanted beliefs that we just absorb without thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to say thank you for joining us now, and we look forward to you joining us on Instagram Live on Tuesday morning in Australia, Eastern Standard Time at 6 a.m. And what about over there, Tasha?
On Maui, it is 6 a.m. Hawaii time. So definitely join us. And if you need a time transition calculator or whatever, they have those online. You can actually just put in the time and say, I want to know what time it is for, 10 a.m. Hawaii time for my time zone.
Yes.
So you can check that. And then also, if you do have tips that you think are really helpful for you and have been very life-changing, please share them in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you, and I know that your input definitely helps other people as well.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will look forward to having you again in our next topic. So all the way from Brisbane, have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Aloha from Maui.